I'd like to call this meeting in order and welcome to our September 3rd regular meeting. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of this committee and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Just have a couple points to make and address. Attended the county council meeting last week. A couple of bullet items that I just wanted to bring up. The County of Renfrew Municipal Day is September 26th. There's 2 sessions, 3 to 5 and 6 to 8, or 6 to 8. And there will be county activities they'll talk about and core responsibilities of the county. Is anyone of interest in going, or would you like to take a bus and take everyone? Any ideas?
What's the date again?
September 26th. And
I have it in my calendar.
That's open for council and staff.
I have it in my calendar. I may attend, I don't know.
Because if there's enough interest, we could get a bus and bring everyone together.
What time is it up?
Well, I was thinking about 6 to 8, and that would cover everyone. If someone was working, we could go for the second session, if there's interest.
I've got a meeting on the 26th,
What time?
4 o'clock.
In Pembroke.
Yes,
So you'll be there.
I'll be in Pembroke. Yes, Mr. Brown.
So you could be there for 6.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll see, but I drive by myself, or I take my own vehicle, we're not going after bus or nothing.
I'll see. I'll go back.
Bill, you have it on yours?
It's in my calendar, yeah.
You're interested?
No, myself also. Don't need us.
Okay. Should we check to see if staff, any of your staff would like to go? Because I think it would show good interest on our part if as many people went as possible.
I might go with Ted. He's my neighbor.
Taste of the Valley 2025, the expression of interest has to be in by September 27th of this year by 4 p.m. And that's just a follow-up of what Councillor Keel had said last week in regards to if we were interested in having another one, that maybe a suitable location would be Runaway. That's just following that. During the warden's address, he talked about intimate partner violence, and it really struck home to me. And one of the things that was brought up recently, a local radio station reported 5 separate instances in a single week here in Renfrew County, which led to multiple criminal charges. I think as a group we need to speak out and get in front of this intolerable behavior. I'm not quite sure what we can do as a council, but we need to be in front of this and talk about it as much as possible, because it's not a good situation right now. And everyone received by email the automated speed enforcement.
Yeah.
So the county are going to buy several devices, and they're going to rotate them around the county. And the only places that they'll be set up are in school safety zones. So take example, our zone is right in front of 2 schools. So council, I'll warn you, there's no timetable when they're going to be set up, but I would practice driving along that street, because it is a 40, and I've tried it a couple of times over the weekend, and it's really difficult staying at 40. So, and those things are going to be, there's no adjusting or no, you can't fool around with those things. When they clock you, they clock you. So you may get a surprise in the mail.
Yeah.
So there's no timetable when they're going to be set up?
Yeah.
Wasting our money buying them.
Can I speak to this?
Certainly.
To me, it's just benefiting the county and the city of Pembroke in this email. We're not gonna get nothing out of
We don't get a dime out of it,
No,
I know.
other than
No.
speed control
it.
on
All
our
of
road.
that.
not good.
We get speed control on the roads, which is an issue for
Which
us.
is a huge issue.
taxpayers.
But
I don't like them, I don't agree with them. It's like everything else. You're not guilty till it's proven in a court of law. Well, this, you don't get a chance to go to the court of law. Dave Mayville could have borrowed my truck and drove 90 kilometers an hour down there. I'm getting fined for it. So to me, it's bullshit. But
I get your point. It would more likely be me pranking you than
Yeah.
that.
I'll be
But-
covering my license plate for every fire call I go on, I guess.
But what gets me is benefits Pembroke and the county.
The benefit for us is the speed control.
We got the OPP, let them do the damn job, you know?
I can report that the OPP were on Queen Street today in the school safety zone.
Oh my God.
With radars.
First time you ever seen it too, right?
I didn't see it, I just know that they were there.
Okay, well,
He was setting up the cameras.
so we have to do a response. Is everyone okay with Tammy doing the response back to the warden?
saying
Well,
they
what's
can't
the
see
response?
On your email you got, there was 3 questions.
I'd respond and tell them to stick their cameras. That's how I'd respond.
But the problem is Pembroke benefits, county benefits. Why can't we get 10% or 15% of these fines? It automatically goes to the county and the city of Pembroke. No,
But it's
Sorry.
it's not our road.
I know, it doesn't matter. I won't agree with that. I vote against it if they wanted us to.
Brian?
Well, I think it might be good to, we do have the issue of speeding and it is a county road, so if they're covering, it's not gonna cost us anything.
Not costing us a dime.
So if it works to keep the speeding down, that might be a good thing. I don't know.
Well,
I
Okay,
kinda-
moving on. Maureen?
Well, it is a school zone, so I support them.
Bill?
I support it.
Yeah.
so if you're
Okay,
doing
so-
40,
Sorry?
no, sorry, it's school zone, your fine doubles. So if you're doing 50 in the 40 zone, you're going to get a fine for,
If you're doing 42, you're going to get a fine.
yeah.
No, I think there's a buffer, usually it's 6 to 8 miles per hour.
Oh, the one in Ottawa by Mandarin is 2 kilometers over, you get charged.
Someone borrowed a truck.
You know
Well, me, the guy at work did.
Guy behind your truck told you that?
I got one on the 401 once on a rental vehicle, and the rental vehicle was good enough to pay the fine and charge my credit card for me. For my convenience.
So anyways, looks like 42, so any, do you want a response?
So we keep that money.
And my last point, non-controversial of course, will be on Thursday. I'll be attending a security roundtable. It was to be Tammy and I, but Tammy thought better for Bob to attend with Cheryl Gallant and all the mayors of the county, and it's to do with in regards to an electrical blackout. So. Does anyone have any pecuniary financial interest to declare? I haven't seen none. Our first delegation, Round Lake Property Association, Scott Gardner.
First of all, I want to thank Tammy because I kind of sent her a bunch of information last minute that she printed off and provided to everybody, as well as put it up on PowerPoint for everyone to view. So thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that quite a bit. I know I have only 15 minutes. I'm happy to print it out for everyone, so I'm going to go through it quick and try to get everybody's attention as much as possible. I don't think the invasive species is a new topic for everyone in here. We're all aware of it. But I want this to be a bit of a recap for everybody, just to get the awareness level out for everyone. So I'm just gonna zip through the PowerPoint, everybody knows how to read, so I'm just gonna touch on the high points. So basically what are invasive species, it can range actually from aquatic species, zebra mussels, it can actually be plants as well, so it's not just one very narrow lane. And I like the definition that is here is actually probably the most pointed of all. It's something that's not natural to its environment. So zebra mussels are not a normal thing in our area. They were brought here by hands. They don't float down the river. They actually are carried by a person on the boat or whatever. Which are the ones that we risk at having? Well, to be quite honest with you, we're at risk for all of them. But the ones that have actually been prevalent in our area so far is zebra mussels. Okay? Is there any lakes around us? Yes, Lake Clear, Lake Dory, and Lake Lake. Okay, 28.6 kilometers from us, they're closer than Eden Lake is. So they're in our backyard. And what's the impact of them? Well, you know, if you go in one of these lakes and speak to the residents, which I did last week, it's huge. You don't realize it because you have these collections, and there's some pictures later on in the PowerPoint, because you have these collections of small little mussels that basically stick to rocks or whatever it is, in varying sizes. Specifically at Lake Clear, on the shore they're very small, like maybe the size of your thumbnail, your pinky nail. But if you go up near the big rock that's in the center of Lake Clear, they're almost the size of plants. So, and like I said, they're invasive, and they multiply 10 times faster than anything else. And that is the problem with them. How long do they last? And this is the open prayer that Lake Clear has right now. 7 years they're open. That's supposed to be the life cycle of them. That's what they're told, and that's what they all have their fingers crossed for, that it will be that quick. I mean, environmental things change, we're all aware of that, so the thing is, right now they're saying 4 years. Then subsequent to that, we're 3 to 4 years thereafter, because the impacts of all those zebra mussels are still being felt, so then your fish population, and basically what it does is it actually affects the whole ecological system. So the thing is, if I take food away on fish, so then how long before it regenerates, before things can start coming back online? So that's where the 3 to 4 years part comes from.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, absolutely.
So you said 7 years. Do they not reproduce once they're in the water?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. 10 times faster than normal. But you know, the norm that they're saying right now is the course of them
Yeah.
will be usually about 7 years is the standard.
Okay.
And that's been the experience thus far out west, which had been like really bad. That's what they're looking at. And a lot of what we see here, it came from the Great Lakes. So boats and watercraft and things like that, that's where it came in. And it's foreign to us. This came from actually like ships and dumping the villages into the Great Lakes. Then we carried it just so on and so on and so on. So that's, any lakes that get them is because they were on somebody's boat, or they were on somebody's vehicle or trailer or whatever. So that's the only way to get here. But that's what they're telling us right now, the scientists and the ecologists. They're saying it's a 7-year span before that you're coming out of it. How do we prevent them? It's a very simple, very simple process, and it's basically cleaning and making sure that the watercraft that are going in, whether it's a boat, a trailer, a kayak, whatever, is cleaned pre and post. And just to show you how you know, this is how easy it happens. When I was at Lake Clear last Thursday, I watched a guy take his boat out of the water, right, and leave. So we already know Lake Clear has them, right? There was absolutely zero down. There was a nice pretty sign right beside the boat launch, and the 3 guys hopped in their truck and went on the merry way. Did he come to Round Lake? Did he go to Gold Lake? I don't know. But, and I think that's the problem, is it's the awareness that we need to have everyone aware. So maybe, you know what, I didn't have enough time to get off my motorcycle and walk over to it on. But I think that's what we need is actually, you know, we don't need to be volunteer police or MNR people, but I think the matter of saying, hey man, but we also have to have the facilities that people will check their boats and stuff like that. Like, we're lucky with our public boat launch, there is a bit of space there that they can check them whenever they're going to the tarps on or whatever. So as I said here, in terms of prevention, basically it's checking the boats and trailers and everything before it goes in the water, and for protection of other lakes and water bodies, check after it comes out. Do we have them? I'll get on to that later. Basically, the reason I'm here is the Round Lake Property Owners Association is kind of taking this on as an initiative, and a big initiative actually. We've applied for some grants, federally and provincially. Thus far we haven't been successful in any of them, but we're still applying for them. There's only so much money, and they have to divvy it up accordingly. What we're looking for is basically the township support in our efforts in terms of when we're applying for these, that we're having more of a holistic approach, not a single association that the township is backing and supporting, because it actually affects all of us. In the coming weeks, what we're proposing, and this is I guess the first reason I'm here, is that the association would like to actually install signage in specific spots around the lake. And I've kind of listed them out. Red Rock Road, there's a spot that's very close to the road that's actually become a beach for people. And the page after this, you'll see I have a map of the locations. So Red Rock, White Park, public launch obviously, Sharon Boyle Park, and Watershare, they are actually different times of last year for us. In addition to that, I spoke to actually some of the private campgrounds, they're actually willing to put signage up for us as well. So I think the first step of it is, and the best part of it is, the association is going to throw all the cost of this. So we're providing everything, putting them in the ground, post signs, everything. I guess the part we're looking at from the township is obviously the approval to install the signs, right? Because of the locations and whatnot. And just so you guys know what we're looking at installing. So basically, these are provided to us by anglers and hunters, and also Focus. So these are standard, driven and actually provided by them. This is the other one. And this one's hard to look at, but I just looked it up really quick. What we want to put on the signpost why this stuff is going up, and we care about the lake. So these aren't going to be 10-foot posts. These are like 5-6-foot posts, just in terms of people where they're accessing the lake. It's just a couple of seconds that they see the sign, they read it, and hopefully there's a little bit of thought process going on. You don't want to hear people saying, I didn't know. This hopefully, will alleviate some of that, or if not, at least educate people. As I said, the next page actually just shows what those specific locations are that I was referring to. As I mentioned, we've already made efforts to secure money through different agencies, and we will continue to do so. NRF, the Province of Fisheries and Oceans, are always coming up with different things for different timelines. And actually, some of the previous funding applications that we were not successful on, they've actually held our names in it depending on what funding happens for other things. So we may still potentially get money from them. Actually, while I was at Lake Claire, I actually spoke to some people that were from the Lake Claire Property Owners Association, and they would love to team up with any other association or group of people just to share their lessons learned and what they've actually experienced and the impacts of them. I spoke to a young lad who was probably 16 years old, and he said, our beach is trash. And he was actually on what they call Little Lake Claire, so I guess it's a tributary to it. So it's having an effect on tourism, it's having an effect on the public beach, basically, and then here's the oddity. A zebra mussel is what they call a filter feeder. So what it does, it sits on the bottom and it filters water through it. So we look at the clarity of the lake, and we have a gentleman that actually takes readings to see how clear the lake is. Well, when the lake's getting clearer, that means that these guys are eating more. And it's making the lake clearer because there's not photoplankton and all the stuff that the fish eat. So you can see how it actually puts a real dent in the ecological cycle. And that's why it takes so long for it to come back around. So we have buy-in actually from other associations that we're starting to get a bit of momentum, because everybody sees, and especially those people that are experiencing it, the problems. Golden Lake was property owners, and also Pictawag has also expressed interest in it because of our proximity to these other ones. FOCA, and I think everybody here is aware of FOCA, so they actually have an initiative as well to help associations. So it's kind of nice that they're stepping up to it as well. The other part that I was hoping is, as the association, is if we can have other associations and the townships buy-in, that we can actually approach other townships that are adjacent to us and say, this is the direction we're trying to go. You can only win from it. There's not a downside to this. But I think it puts us in a much better light if we go to our provincial or federal representative and say, look, we have this group of townships, we have these associations, and we're speaking about this problem, and it's very real. And we actually have a couple associations that are dealing with it. So I think that's kind of the macro view of it as to where we're trying to head with it. But initially, as I mentioned, first is going to be awareness and science, and that's really the main principle of what I wanted to speak to you about tonight, to get the council's approval. Township participation, I guess, when I'm looking at that is, I know originally, and I jumped around a little bit, but originally I think, we spoke with the mayor, I think it was Brian a ways back, and we talked about signage and things of that nature. Originally, we were looking at putting, I think we said on the highway, two on the highway, one kind of pre-round lake and one on the other side, so on the share side and on the Killaloe side. We haven't done it yet, and this is not about a finger pointing thing, this is a matter of, let's just focus on what the problem is. And you know what, I think our first point that we should look at is, let's put some signage right at the boat launch. That is the point of entry for these people, when I say these people, but that's probably the biggest point of entry to the lake. If we can put some signage there, we're willing to put up a small sign in the interim, because I know it's not a snap of the fingers to make these things, I understand that. But I think it would be a positive step forward for us to start getting the awareness as a public view to people, so they see associations doing it, the township's doing it, so, and we're even potentially looking at putting even on some of the mileage marker signs, or kilometer marker signs that we have. So, you know what, if somebody says, I'm getting inundated by those damn signs, great. I really hope so. So if it creates awareness to people, all the better. But I think that's our biggest first step right now is, one, us asking the council for approval to put this signage up in these locations, and the second part would be is for the township's participation in the signage. Like I said, I understand we're looking at other signage, but I think that as a starting point, if nothing else, at the boat launch would be a good start to have an impact on people using our lake. Just for a point of reference for people, I'm sorry I don't know where enough time was, but
4 minutes.
4 minutes left, and watch me go. So there was a recent fishing derby, August 18th, okay? There were 30 vehicles from this province and other provinces, okay? Quebec, to say what it is, I don't know if there's Alberta. Anyways, so, did they came to was pre or post? Well, there was no mechanism there to do it. So other than if they did it, we don't know. So could they have brought stuff? Yes. Could they have taken stuff? Yes. So that's, I guess, the root of why I'm saying we need to take this seriously. The final note is just basically what I mentioned in terms of the whole point of the township's approach and actually having them provide and install some signage as well. I understand there's budget constraints and everything. That's why I said let's go one instead of two. So the other ones are pictures, just so everybody's familiar with what zebra mussels look like. The one that says invasive species alert, this is actually a sign that's up at Lake Superior. And I really wouldn't want to see this sign up here saying this lake is infected. And I'm kind of surprised actually that they don't have it at the other lakes in our area to tell people that the lake is infected. Because just as I said, people that were in Lake Clear and could go down to that. There should be, maybe these people didn't know, because I went around it and I didn't see any signs saying it is an infected lake, so you could conceivably say. That's around Lake has zebra mussels. Sorry, what do you think? Honestly.
I would say yes.
Yes. Okay.
There's not
There was zebra mussel detected on May the 30th of this year. Okay. Good news is, and that's on this page here. The good news is, the one that was detected was dead. And if you look at the map, just probably about at the 7 o'clock location is the red dot. That is the location of actually where it was. So the one thing for zebra mussels is that they don't do well in deep water because there's less oxygen. So, but it was reported, it was verified, so that is a positive find of zebra mussel, albeit dead, it was a positive find for zebra mussels in our lake. So, because of the depth, if I was a betting man, I would wait until they probably fall off the boat. Because that would be at that depth, because they're not going that depth by themselves. So, it kind of reinforces what you see in this report, and I apologize that it's small, it's kind of trying to make it fit. You can see the status of it, dead. It was definitely a zebra mussel. When it was located, it was May the 30th, and it's been verified actually by the ministry. So it's 100% the very bottom of this valley site is our lake. If you look up in the top, it does give you the long and lat, so if you want to be adventurous, hop in your boat and find out exactly where it is, you can go do the long lap and find the longitude and latitude of it. the next page, is basically lakes in the area. So lakes in the area, so kind of once again, it's kind of a small one. So Pog Lake is over in the far left. They've had sightings as well and verified. Round Lake has had them. Gold Lake has yet to have them. Main Lake, Lake Dory has had them as well. Okay? And it's not on here in the map, but actually, Muskrat Lake, that Carlton, actually has them as well. So they're spreading, and the only common denominator is people, folks, because they can't fly. So that's that is the only way that they do it. I just wanted to share with everybody, and I'm on that limit. I just wanted to share with everybody, this is a gift I brought back from Lake Pier. We pass it around. So that's a stone that I picked up off the beach on Thursday that has a bunch of zebra mussels. It's since fallen off of it, right, because they're stuck in the bag. But I want everybody here to think about this sitting on your beach with your grandkids or your kids or your family or whatever. And that's real. That's Thursday last week. And one of the people there that was at the beach with their grandchildren, they were like, "Oh, don't go there, don't go there." And they said, "Oh, come to our house. We can show you more of them." And I'm thinking, "No, this is too much." My wife was already person like that. So it was, that was difficult enough putting that in work, like anything else. So I just, we all see the pictures and it's like, ugh. You can see that is real if you're doing it. And that one only, like I said, a lot of them have fallen off of it, but I mean, it covers. So it's very real, it's very close, and I hope that the council will definitely consider our request for this signage approval to put signage into these locations. As I said, it's a no-cost venture on the township's part. The only cost would be, like as I said, is the council putting up signage of their own in support of this initiative. The association, whenever we hand out many of our things, we actually were fortunate enough that we got a whole bunch of material from Anglers and Hunters and also FOCA, which is about invasive species and everything like that. So I'll leave this with you guys, but that's everything I have to say about this, and I hope that everybody will consider it.
Anybody have any questions for Scott?
Good job.
Questions or comments?
It was an excellent presentation, first of all, but, so, you mentioned that we do have them in Round Lake, and then there's this sign of the invasive, so should we be putting some of those signs up?
Well,
For people taking boats out of the lake?
So right now, the one that was located was, the one that was actually sampled and sent in for submission and verified was it.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we say we have active colonies in the lake? Thus far, and I don't know if you noticed, there's that one spot that there's a whole bunch of markers around it and all that. So all those blue spots are places that were sampled.
Okay.
And they were all fine. So in all truthfulness, there was one instance of it, which was May 30th, but it was a positive. It was definitely a zebra mussel, but it was dead. So it doesn't tell you that in terms of it's an active, is active in the lake as a current, right? That thing that I just sent around, there's no question that it's active in Lake Clear. So I guess what I'm saying is we have been exposed to it. We got lucky. And I think that's the biggest part of it, is that we need to get ahead of the curve instead of being behind it in terms of awareness and information. We're looking at options in terms of even devices to help clean boats, and that's something that I think with the other associations, if you know there's a fishing derby, so we're bringing a unit in that they can power wash boats off, and then next week it's that golden nickel and take it there, I'm not blaming the fishers, the anglers, I'm not trying to do that, but I mean, if that influx of people do that, so be it, I hope that answers it, Brian.
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
Carl?
I'm good.
Right, Ted?
I just have a few things. I definitely support you guys putting your signs up for sure wherever you need to put them on our property. We did approve signs before, so is that
Yes.
still in the budget?
Tammy is in the process of getting quotes for the 3 signs,
Okay.
2 on 58 and 1 on Simpson Pit Road. But we haven't got that back yet. So
And it's like just, you're asking for us to put a big one at the boat launch. The only thing, and I'm all for the big signs, but we just have to remember that we have other waters in our township. So if we're spending township money, those signs should be placed not just around Round Lake, they gotta be, in my opinion, at the entrance of the township. So it gives fair warning to everybody.
Where would you suggest also? 'Cause
Well,
we thought of the county road, cause that's where.
Golden Lake is in our township,
This side.
Oh, right.
so
Okay.
people coming in, like, they should be at the entrances to our
On
township, so when
Heritage.
people are driving into our township. Or if it's somebody from H&R goes to Lake Claire, when they come back in their township, they'll see that sign.
I see what you mean. We never thought of that the night we had that meeting. That's a good idea though.
Because, and like Scott said, the problem is those people on Lake Claire pulled their boat out right beside the sign and never did anything, right? So,
Do you have anything else? Ted?
no.
Did we not, were we not successful in the grant to get that washer?
No,
Okay.
no. It's, so it was a federal grant for fisheries and oceans. They were the ones that actually said we did get the grant for it, but there is some contingency funding that they're looking at that we're still in the running for lack of a better term, but and that funding hasn't been allocated as of yet. There's some traditional funding that we applied for that we didn't get, I think, and actually it was part through FOCA was the distribution agent for it, so.
For those that, when Brian and I met with Round Lake people, that they were looking to get a grant for a washer to put at the boat launch and would spray the bottom of the boats. Sorry. Bill? Any comments, questions?
What MR do name for the grant the signing?
Actually, Sanders was mentioned to me, he's more intimate relation with MRF than I do, but there is some funding that they're actually specifically tagging for invasive species. So, and that's what happens is there's always different grants coming out from different sources. And that is a little bit of the reason why we're looking at other associations as well, in relation to what Dave mentioned, of the potential of us still buying a machine that can be shared between different areas. Because I think the brand new one is $70K, and one of the ones that I've somewhat sourced now, we're more than $35K, which I think we can start dividing it up between groups, everybody taking a little piece, then it's a little bit more palatable. So, but we do have, as of right now, I know of 2 other associations that are on board with us, so at least it's a start.
That's a good point, Harold. Bill?
Yeah, I'm in support of as many signs as we can put wherever we can put them.
Right.
And I think it's great that the association is putting them up.
Yeah, I just thank you for caring so much about, well, the whole Property Owners Association for caring so much about our lakes, because I agree it's a big threat to our waterways and our beautiful lake, and it'd be horrible if that happened.
Well,
Yeah.
and I shouldn't say this, I don't suggest people who like to go to Lake Claire, but honestly, this is
Yeah.
just a tip of the iceberg. It's pretty scary, actually.
Yeah,
What's so special about that machine that washes it, do you know?
To be truthful with you, Ted, you know what? That machine, well, it's totally self-contained, so it's solar and battery, so that's always
Yeah.
expensive, right? But it's a power washer and a vacuum, so the vacuum is a wet dry vac for
Yeah.
guys with their light bulbs and stuff. And the other is a power washer based off of battery and solar, so it's gonna be expensive.
Yeah,
I was at the other school, and maybe it's not the most environmentally friendly. but
buy a
40
generator.
40-degree water with a steam engine, and clean it off pretty darn quick as
Yeah.
well. But then you have to deal with the wastewater from it, and there's a whole
Yeah,
other,
yeah,
so.
okay.
That's part of the reason, but actually, one of the other members of the association is sourcing another company that has more economical routes, so we're definitely looking at other ways. We spoke to an association down here in Caucasian, and they bought one of these $70,000 machines. It gets used when there's somebody manning it, and when
Yeah.
it isn't, it's no different than people going past the sign, so
Yeah.
it's, we gotta get the most bang for our buck in terms of the cost of it, but also effective and stuff, that's for sure.
Scott, all the signs you've already got now already, they're from,
So
they're
this,
from FOCA?
actually, Anglo gave us more than FOCA, but they will continue to supply as many as we want.
All comps, right?
All comps, yes. I think the only thing they charge is for and this truthfully, I just paid this, I an hour before I came here, so it was.
We should go into business.
What's that?
We should go into business.
No, no, I'll stick with PTC, but,
So what we can tell you is that, to hook up with Dean, and we arrange that, or Scott, however communication has to be set up, but I think
Okay.
Dean should walk with you
okay.
to the sites to ensure that they're okay.
Okay.
But I don't think anyone has a problem with putting up as many signs, and especially the locations that you said. So-
If I can ask one thing too, if Tammy's getting pricing on the signs, if she would mind sharing what the pricing is, because potentially, if we're pushing for more signage, maybe, it's not promised in any way, but maybe the associations might be willing to kick in some if we could have more signage.
We'd be more than happy to share that.
So, you know, again, I think, you know what, like I said, if it's, if we can get more for it,
Yeah. Carl, did you have the last
Yeah,
thought?
of all of those signs there, if we did a 4x8 at the boat launch, which one would be the perfect one there?
you wanna know the lottery number too?
Yeah.
I'll be quite honest with you. I've seen both of the signs at both spots. Like I've seen them over Lake Clear, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was this one, and if I'm not mistaken, over at Traymore Bridge, this sign's there. So these are both like accredited signs. This one gives you, like, this is, the province has endorsed this one, so I probably would be leaning to this.
That would be.
That would be my guess, so.
You know, it depends the person that's walking up to it. And what do you look at, color or? Black and
Exactly,
white,
this one's kicking
you know.
on color, so I don't know. But the good news is they keep sending these to us as many as we ask for, so basically our position right now is we're gonna go and put them all out, and then we're gonna request some more.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Next time you only get 5 minutes, Scott.
You always can.
You ate into something.
You know, I said that,
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Stan. Also, Stan, thank you also.
Thank you, everyone.
And now we're looking for Mr. Hubbard.
No, he's not here.
Not absent?
That's all.
Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting. Regular council meeting of August 27th, open and closed.
We've got Brian Crosby, second by Harold Levine, motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of August 27th, 2024, open and closed sessions.
Discussion, questions? All those in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Good night.
Okay. Get to the works. You're up.
Hope it doesn't sound too repetitious, but grading continues where needed, and it is needed. Good grader as well as the truck with the drag lately. The rain still is not cooperating. Like a lot of times, I don't know what it is. It seems to be raining on Thursdays or Fridays. I'm sure you get phone calls from ratepayers. These things add up. And the amount of rain, that's another thing. When we do get rain, it rains in buckets. So usually Monday and even potentially Tuesday, we're doing washouts. We don't get rain just like that, unfortunately, it doesn't happen. And what is it, we have like 171 kilometers, I think, of one-way gravel. That's a lot of rain. And like I said, it's just, along with, and I have to add, the cold patching. With rain coming down, vehicles will slow down. They're driving, they're not going to stop driving on our roads, right? And they're getting pounded. So there's 2 more guys, roughly at least 2 days a week, Mondays and Tuesdays, just trying to catch up. Seems like we're unfortunately,
It won't
Last
stop
week-
growing.
well, no, and unfortunately, last week and week before we lost our students. Back University, good for them. I don't know, I can't say enough about them. Like, they're wonderful, like, I don't know what to do with them, but they're great. So that being said, the grass cutting, that involves our trackless and our John Deere tractor, our green tractor with the flail head on, that does roadside as well as in town. Yeah, basically cutting grass and grading roads. If it ever slows down, our future is culvert installations that need to be done. They have to get done, and necessary ditching, which is pretty essential for, again, potentially next year if rainfall is this bad again. The ditching, it really needs a lot. Hopefully we get to it. We managed to get some gravel into Round Lake landfill. It was bad. It needed it, and fortunately, I hope we didn't get too many complaints because simple reason that we have to be replaced with something on the house. And as for coal patching too, we managed to get into town here too a couple times. We had some extensive potholes again on Lake Street. Part of that reason was the bridge was closed. More traffic, more pounding, weather, you got it. So yeah, we've been quite busy. It might seem something simple, creating coal patching on grass, but that's the season we're in. So it sounds a little repetitive. Maybe it is, but we've been busy.
Anybody have any questions?
Keep really good job you're doing.
Absolutely.
You know, you have to toss off and just say of the downpours, not just the rain, it's the downpours that we get that washes everything away, which you have to go back to repair again.
Well, another thing too,
Especially
right,
fresh gravel road and so
we try, I hope we don't get too many complaints, like you have some of your main routes, your hills, that, you know, after doing it for 14 years, you kind of know where, you know, you should focus your attention. But then again, like I said, with the extensive rain and this equipment working so much, what are we doing? We're doing more servicing. More servicing means more blades, more oil changes, more filters. Well, we don't have a night shift that does this. So if we're due for servicing and it happens to pour, again on a Thursday or a Friday, what's your priorities? You know, taking a date, doing servicing to equipment, or potentially your phone ringing because people might say, where's the grader, is it broke? So we struggle, but I hope we're keeping at it.
Great delivery. It's a nice, it's a nice change from the fellow who normally sits there. No disrespect.
Well, no, getting better at this, and sometimes, how do you say that, fresh eyes,
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
right?
Thank you.
Lori?
No, keep it up. You sound like you're in like an episode of Groundhog Day though. Every day grading.
Well,
I know, it's all the stuff that has to be
How
done.
do you know this? I don't bring it to your attention, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's great.
You're at home and like tell me that your lawnmower hasn't got a brake.
Yeah.
Well, your lawnmower has one. Township lawnmower's got how many?
Oh, I know.
You know, like,
Well, and I think people don't understand the scope sometimes of, like you said, 170 kilometers of gravel roads. Like, that's sometimes what I think people forget is just how much road there is to take care of, and we don't have a huge amount of staff, so you're doing a great job.
getting phone calls on Monday mornings and we just start work for them. Like, maybe call about Thursday, it was like, very
Yeah.
Okay, Brian?
I got something to compare to Byers Street, Mountain View. I went for a drive up there the other day, from there to past Ken Shula's.
Oh, you just did some,
Oh,
excessive work on it.
I think it's worse than you. Yeah, I did. I never seen anything as bad in my
Well, that
life.
should be ripped up and gravelled.
Yeah, tear it up and put gravel down.
Actually, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say this, but while we were working there, Ray Baird basically said, the grader comes more than the asphalt layer. I kind of looked, and that's exactly what,
It was just,
suggested.
for that little
I'm
stretch,
just
just
repeating something
tear it
I
up
said.
and put gravel on it, it's, oh my god.
Ted, do you have something?
Any update on the Traymore Bridge?
Update on Tremont Ridge. I went there today.
I know I seen you, that's why I asked.
Well, unfortunately, I was speaking to some people, but I don't know how to word this, they weren't wearing the white hard hats.
Yeah.
And they said, we were there on Wednesday, and today they're here. You gotta go there.
What are they doing
Not
to
there today.
So basically, that's the report. They moved very short span in a number of days. It might look like, you know, there's 70 feet to go. How long it takes to get there, I really don't know. Right? Like it's,
I don't think anything's gonna change early October. I think that date is,
yeah.
but
That's the last update I saw,
But there's
October.
to lay new stuff on that steel bridge like that. What do they do? Do it in gold or what?
I don't even know the contractor that's doing that bridge. Did anybody see who it was?
I don't know. I'm, Dean was there last week, and potentially they might be short-staffed, is what I gathered, because one day last week, apparently it was midday, like not lunchtime. It wasn't break time in the morning. I don't know if it was 10 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. And there was nobody there. The holidays in the summer maybe, unfortunately, but, you know, I don't know if I answered that right.
I know, I went down one day, and nobody did a period.
Honest to God.
I went for my monthly drive around town, or all around town. And if anyone wants to go on these roads, please do. Byers Creek, the front part of Byers Creek, it doesn't look like it was patched at all. Like it's still.
It's getting paved.
Another 2 weeks.
Well, I know, but what do you?
Why are we
We can't,
wasting?
we're wasting time talking about it. We've talked about it 1,000 times at these meetings. It's getting paved, that's all we can do.
I think a load of ash, coal patch is over $5,000.
Actually, to answer your question, we were there 2 weeks ago, and we actually did a driveway that was washed out, Lake Ayers driveway, and we put 4 bins of coal patch on. I don't know how big the bin roughly would be, or the volume and tonnage.
Yeah, there was a big stretch that.
But yeah, we basically coal patched the first houses, and I couldn't believe we actually got some comments. They were compliments.
Did you get rid of
Yeah. So, it is.
You did a good job.
It is.
It's a lot better than what it was, so.
Yeah, like.
You know it's coming, it's just a matter of, it's all that, people driving back and forth, they're not gonna ruin cars if they're got anything in their head.
Yeah, that's.
And as Carl said, Mountain View Road.
Oh my God.
And, you know, maybe it's not a bad idea what Shannon
Strip it.
said. Strip it. And,
And
but
put
anyways,
gravel
that's
on it.
to come.
Yeah, like.
That's next year's
I just
budget,
repeated
so.
what I heard, that was like one repair, maybe the rest wouldn't be on board, maybe they would be on board. But the one basically just said, like, you're here with the grader, potentially once a week, right? Your main routes should be trying to get done. So the grader's here, but the pavement was only there 40 years ago. Now, if it was there for a long time, there would be additional costs probably with calcium of houses, right? Seasons fall year, maybe not. I don't know.
Does anyone else have it? Great job. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Come back anytime.
Yeah.
Boys.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Evan.
Any committee reports?
Committee, I have an HR committee report, just a brief one that I wanted to bring up. I wanted to report back to council on our long-awaited policy manual review. So just to give you an update about where we are. The HR committee, which I'm the chair of, we reviewed every policy line by line, every HR policy line by line quite some time ago. And then we asked staff to go back and record those changes, make those changes to the policy and bring them back to us. A couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago now, the committee received those policy changes back for our review, just to make sure, and they will be coming to council very, very soon for approval. So that's good. I did want to highlight that in that review, we discussed in detail benefits, vacation, overtime, pension plans, staffing levels, and remuneration, and the committee's not recommending any significant changes at all to any of those policies. In fact, most of the changes that we made were minor wording changes for clarification, but none of the benefits for staff are going to be changing as a result of that review. So I would suggest, I don't want to give a date, but within the next short time, that PET policy manual will come to council for approval. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, anything else? Any other committee? Okay, correspondence. Township of Russell. Resolution to support AMCTO provincial updates to the Municipal Election Act. City of Quinte West, resolution, Canada Community Building Fund. Unfinished business. Security camera report.
Do I want to lead on it? Well, I was just hoping for maybe more than one like really overpriced option. I don't, just like knowing how, I mean, obviously we can't afford, this is way out of our budget, but, is there something that is more affordable and perhaps like an easier option? I don't know, but, yeah.
Cellular trail cameras.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not really in favor of putting cameras around town in our parks. I don't think that the amount of vandalism at Killaloe Pathways Park to this date has been really significant. It's small stuff, it's a pain. We need to fix it, but I don't know that it warrants that level of supervision and expense.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my
Well, the vandalism has kind of stopped for a little while, so.
And I don't know the cameras are gonna fix it. People, if they're intent on doing vandalism, are gonna find where the camera is gonna do it.
Too much money.
Yeah, way too much
Does
money.
anyone have any positive to say? Or?
Not about this, no.
Okay.
Kevin, was a really good presentation. I can go back to that.
New business, well, we talked about the automated speed enforcement. Somebody brought this up to me today, and I've never used the washroom at the tourist booth. I'm not sure if anyone else has, but he was an individual who's recently had an operation. The toilet is very, very low, not a high.
Has to be like that for kids.
Sir,
Has to be like that for kids and stuff.
what about, handicap?
Well,
I don't know the rules, and that, I'm sure that would,
Don't believe it's an accessible option,
It's not.
that would have to be looked at.
and
We'll shut our information booth down now.
sorry?
Yes, we're going up shutting our information booth down now.
Because,
Well, we don't have an accessible bathroom, so it'll cost us $20,000 to put an accessible bathroom in.
unless, isn't there still grants kicking around for that?
Oh, fuck.
Where are we gonna put it in there? We'd have to build on.
I don't know. Do we need Dale to look at it, or?
That's the only link we've ever had, or?
That's the first time anyone's ever said it.
Well,
And I've never been in there, so I don't know. And
Well, I've used it years ago, I mean, not years ago, but not this year, last year, but I didn't have any problem.
But you're kind of weak.
I'm the oldest,
I see that.
I'm the oldest man here. I'm gonna check it out tomorrow. See if it works.
could you?
No.
This is what you get, I didn't say a word last meeting, so.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't need to be accessible, maybe it just needs a higher toilet or something. I don't know.
It's the first complaint we've had since we redid that whole thing, I don't know how many years ago, 15 years ago, whatever.
Okay, does anyone have anything else?
New business, yes. It's not really business, but I just want everybody to be aware that there's a fundraiser at McCarthy Propane and Fuels on Friday from 11:30 to 1. It's for the Terry Fox Foundation. It's strictly donation, hot dogs and water. It's being organized by Chris Kelly, who used to be a mechanic at McCarthy or at Jason's, and he's been fighting a battle with cancer for the last 3 years. And so, just anybody that's around town, it would be greatly appreciated.
What time?
From 11:30 to 1
Chris can be
Friday,
Friday.
and Chris will be there. Yeah,
because he emailed me, I supported him on the Terry Fox
Yeah.
last year.
they had one in Barry's Bay on Friday at Lorraine's Pharmacy. And we're having one in Killaloe, so if the CRC can let their employees know, or anybody, would be appreciated.
And will you be cooking?
And I will be cooking.
Oh my God.
Last year's.
I don't know.
No name hot dogs?
I know where you get lost.
Talk to Sean. So, thank you.
So that's surf and turf then.
Surf and turf.
Okay.
Brisket.
I had that Saturday.
I had one Saturday too.
The only other item I had,
Butter.
bylaw tracking software, being you're here. Is it a vote? Did
Did get it, yeah.
everyone said yes?
Yep.
All good. All good. Okay,